What is good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 31 of the Art Meets Culture podcast. I'm your host, Adesudusi. It is an absolute pleasure to be back. 2020 was a mad year, but we are thankful that we got through it. For those who have lost any loved ones, I want to send positive prayers to you and your loved ones. But on to positive things. 2021 is going to be a massive year for us. We've got so much in store for AMC. You know me already, I don't really like to say too much, but I would rather show than tell. But it's going to be a great year and we cannot wait. Last year we had a great year for us ourselves, obviously getting into the podcast and also doing the virtual exhibition, the Believe in a Drip exhibition. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much to the artists who actually got involved as well. It was an absolute pleasure to have all you on from around the world, from Nigeria to Spain to Canada to Australia to America. Like the map was wide, I mean, we had over 1,000 people sign up, and we had like over 1,000 people come into the exhibition. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. We did have some sales as well, so a lot of people sold on that, so that was amazing for us. But yeah, also we kicked off our YouTube channel, Art Meets Culture, where we have our latest series called the Art Review on there, where we review artists from Instagram. We also do specials, so we've done a Jay-Z special, we've done a Jordan special, and we've most recently done a Kobe special, which is amazing. Shout outs to Kobe, RIP to Kobe and Gigi and everybody who was affected in that plane crash, helicopter crash rather. But yeah, it's been great and a great journey doing YouTube. I really enjoy it. It's something that I've always wanted to do, and it's been a pleasure reviewing great artists on there as well. So shout out to you guys. Yeah, be sure to go check that out on YouTube. Like, comment, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and yeah, comment below on there and let us know what you think. So let's get into today's guest. We have Nigerian British-born artist Emmanuel Unaji. He is a multidisciplinary artist based in London, and he's a co-CEO of the design company UNAJI&co with his brother. Emmanuel Unaji combines painting, drawing, and fashion design. But I'm going to let him tell his story for himself. He has an amazing story, an amazing journey, and he has phenomenal belief. He's someone who believes in himself, has great people around him, and has a clear vision. That's very hard. He has a strict, clear vision about what he wants to do, how he wants to do it. And he's been a part of amazing things in 2020 from the Take Collective exhibition. But I don't want to speak too much. I'm going to allow you guys to listen to that first. So before we get in, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud. You know the whole shebang. You know how we do it. Let's get into it. Put your money where your heart is. Let's go. Manuel, how you doing, bro?
Yeah, no, I'm blessed, man. Thank you.
No worries, man. Happy to have you on. Thanks for coming on the podcast. I haven't done any podcasts in a long time, so it's been. I think I messaged you before about coming on board before. But obviously, pandemic times and trying to figure out how we're navigating through all this kind of keyed in. But yeah, thanks for coming on. It'd be great to tell the guests, the audience rather, who you are and what you do.
Yeah, no, sure, man. Well, my name is Emmanuel Unaji, a multidisciplinary fine artist, British-born Nigerian, currently based in London/Kent, and I guess also a CEO, co-founded a company with my brother called UNAJI&co. We specialize in creative consultancy, fashion design, and yeah, man, production. So all things exciting, I guess.
No, that's massive, and I definitely want to, get into that about you and your brother and the brand, because I've seen some sick things that you guys have been doing. But let's get started from the beginning. Like, why art? Like, what was the thing that drew you to this passion? Where did it start for you?
Great question. I feel like it was quite early on. My mum's, I guess she's kind of like the most cultured one out of all of us, really. So I think my mum was very keen on traveling from like an early age. So I'd say maybe like 10, quite a while back now. Maybe like we were there like year 5, year 4, quite a while back. We went to in Italy. We went to Rome. It was
Wow.
the 16th Chapel, and I feel like that was a very profound kind of experience where you got to see like this. It was like nothing you've ever really seen before, like in terms
Yeah.
of like art and I guess that's the beauty of art, and I think that's why I kind of started to like fall in love with it in terms of like the duality of one, like something just being beautiful, but in the same breath, like it gives you a freedom to kind of just ask like why. And I think we all looked at the paintings, and the first for me as children, we kind of just asked was like, why there's no black people, and
Yeah.
I guess I've always kind of loved the question inside of art, and yeah, that's just been a passion ever since.
No, that's amazing. And you mentioned you're Nigerian, and that in itself is you know, amazing because Nigerians, well, the typical thing is Nigerians don't really like creatives. That hasn't been a thing that they've highlighted. It's either doctors, lawyers, all those above.
Mm.
How was your, background, and how was your parents? Do they support you straight away during that journey?
Um, Yeah, I guess my mum was very supportive. I'd say because she's quite a creative individual in herself. I think sometimes we look at it very literal, if that makes sense. My
Yeah,
mum obviously works in health as a consultant, like in terms of like safeguarding, but I guess she's kind of passed on like creative strategy. So it's
mhm,
like now when we kind of wanted to like venture into like fine art, fashion, she just like the first thing she said was business. Do you know what I'm saying? Like in
yeah.
terms of like, the creative strategy that you ultimately apply to whatever you're making, whatever you're doing, is so important. And it was like it's not really anything that it didn't really. We were so kind of caught up with creative stuff, like obviously like 4 or 5 years ago. But now when we fast forward, it's like, bro, like that's literally the most important advice we've ever gotten on our journey. So
No, that's amazing. That's truly amazing. So Unaji, the brand, the whole company, like, why did you and your brother started that?
um I guess it kind of links to the last point. It's like creative strategy. So it's like the intersection of like for me, art is culture. Do you know what I'm saying? It's nature. Like you think something, you have the freedom to kind of like make it. It's beautiful. It's personal. But then business is a completely different game. Do you know what I'm saying? It's
Mm.
like our UNAJI as a company is commerciality. It's a way to kind of navigate, I guess, that socio-economic like bridge between make like having an idea, making it, and then taking that idea and product to the market. Like I guess in short, like that is what UNAJI is, regardless of whatever that outcome is.
No, I really like it. And like, what's been your like key highlights for the company? Like, what do you want to stand for in the long term? Because it's amazing that two Black Nigerians coming together, creating something very unique. Like, what is the long term play for this?
No, thank you. I really appreciate that. I guess there's been a few like major kind of things along the way, like exhibiting Adidas, Tate, Freemasons Hall. But I guess last year it would probably be between exhibiting in France, obviously, and then obviously kind of like striking a deal there in terms of representation and which is really exciting in Lille through a pandemic. And then I guess the other one would probably be being in the final five shortlist of like an international art competition.
Yeah, congratulations on that as well, man.
Yeah, thank you. And it is obviously like it sounds like a bit of a what's the word dub, but I think as a company, like both fresh out of uni, it really kind of solidified like the level and the trajectory of like where we're taking our business and like, do you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
No, that
thank
makes perfect sense. So 2020, which has been like one of the most, I don't even know what to call 2020 because I'm kind of speechless about the year entirely, but it paused a lot of people, and it made people question whether they could pursue their creative roles now that things are shutting down. People can't do exhibitions no more. People had to really think and strategize. What were the challenges for you in 2020, and how did you adjust to it?
Yeah, no, great question. I think yeah, it was like I think everyone had a really positive 2019. Everyone was like 2020 is like that kind of like
Yeah,
pinnacle. And I think God just laughed. Do you know what I'm saying? I think like it just shifted everything, and I guess everyone had to kind of find a new gear. And yeah, I think essentially, in terms of our mentality, I definitely would say that that shifted. I think the reliance on like physical exhibitions and like physically kind of interacting with people, and that was like obviously a very strong side of our brand and business. But I think to kind of like now navigate and become more creative, online, commerce wise, and just networking as well. Like, I think that was so important through 2020, and not really allowing whatever you thought was going to happen impact what could happen. Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Um, so, and I guess that paid off, I'd say, especially in the last quarter. So off the back of like the Tainsme kind of shortlisting, it was like, oh, like we could be upset and kind of like wallow in our pity, but then we had our collection coming out, luxury visibility, our essentials range, and like opportunities just kept coming. So we shot it, like we started doing all like I guess like the creative kind of strategy stuff behind it, and then we ended up partnering with an American company called Renew London,
hmm,
or a concept pop-up store, like right at the end of the year. So I guess the lesson was in 2020, like to always just stay in the game, like just to continue moving forward. Like even if you're taking one step forward a day, you're still do you know what I'm saying? You're still further forward than you were yesterday. And I think that's the main thing, to really be grateful.
no, that's amazing. And so a lot of people don't carry that mindset or that belief, because as soon as troubled times hit, it's panic mode. But it's great to know that you've kept the faith in what you do and who you are, actually. Do you know what I mean? To help you push forward.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? I mean, challenges wise, like everyone's gone through their like hardships and everything. Have you gone through any challenges pursuing um a career in creativity and in art?
Yeah, man. I guess challenges is like, it's like part of being human. I guess probably even just being accepted into creative uni was quite was a very challenge. Was a big challenge. 4 out of my 5 choices were like rejections, and I personally felt like I was a very competent artist at the time, but like it it kind of links back to the last one, that you can't really wallow. But I'd say that was a pivotal moment, because I just always knew the importance of kind of educating yourself in like the kind of like creative sphere, in terms of like really like just having that degree next to like whatever it is that you're specializing in. It kind of just reinforces like that intellectual kind of like integrity, which I think is so important.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I'd say that was it. And then obviously moving forward in business, I think again, like we have like a kind of on like a running like analogy of like just sport and football. Like sometimes like you get a business opportunity, you're playing for a team, the manager might take you out the game, and it's like, but you might be playing well. But so I guess business wise, it's just about having the right fit. I think that would probably be the best way to kind of, I guess, illustrate challenges.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And you mentioned, you went to university. Do you think, you know, university helps you become a better artist, or do you think it's just not something relevant that everybody doesn't need?
I think uni, just like life, just like anything, I think it's whatever you want to make from it. I think being rejected from 4 unis, I was so determined to like utilize like every single resource, like and no one could tell me otherwise. Do you know what I'm saying? Like my brother and I, we had a plan again, like the advice from my mum, it was like there was internally such like a determination to just learn. And I remember like sitting like with my tutors in crits and critiques, and obviously my work, like they'd have opinions on my work, and it was like you'd obviously take that critique on board, but then I think it challenges you, because it's like it makes you really question whether is this an idea that you're willing to like live and die by. And it's like when they start punching holes and stuff, like so many people's ships can sink. So I think that kind of exercise was I think it was priceless, man. I think now you're in the real world, it's like you're basically stepping out like bulletproof almost.
No,
And
that's sick.
oh, thank you, man.
No, that's sick. That's proper sick. I mean, going back to, you know, your style, your brand, and, you know, the way you illustrate, I noticed that, you know, you use iconic figures in your art piece, and you do the illustrated side mixed with photography. Why do you mix those mediums? Let the people know why you've picked that sort of style for yourself.
Yeah, no, it's a great question, man. I feel like duality is such a big part of obviously life, being human, and obviously my practice. I think like photography like kind of represents a reality or an artificial reality, like an artificial kind of like freeze frame of like one perspective, and then to kind of draw in and like I guess physically like add in the other side. It represents like more of like a personal experience. And I think us as people, when we kind of maneuver through the world, we have that kind of like people can judge you based on certain freeze frames, based on like their perception of you, of your brand, but that might not be reflective of your ongoing experience. So that's what that kind of a mixed media style really represents. And then in terms of like the iconography, I feel like I guess it's one obviously on the immediate side, it's like it's obviously in terms of the immediacy of what people would recognize. But I feel like simultaneously, like whenever you look at like whoever I do select, there's always like a really important kind of message based on the level that person's experience. Like whether it's Fela, Marilyn Monroe, like all of these people have very like specific lessons within their life.
No, that makes sense. And I like that, because, you know, when I look at your work and it's just like he's doing something, you know, that I love. Do you know what I mean? Because even like creating the platform Art Meets Culture, or Art Meets Music, as at the time, it was literally bringing two cultures and mediums together so people can enjoy it but also understand the other side at the same time. So yeah, I definitely understand that, and, you know, and appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you. Appreciate
Nice. You're a stylish guy. You know, I'm seeing the drip consistently throughout the page, from the jackets, from even the shoot that you did with your brother with the suits. Why has fashion played a key part within your art? And, you know, you not only do art on a canvas, whether it's digital on a canvas, you're using the fashion pieces as canvas pieces too.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, and I feel like fashion, I actually studied fashion for a year prior to moving into fine art. And I also have a background in modeling as well. So I feel like, and obviously just, I guess, like family, whatever you want to say in terms of like the swag, like that's always important. But yeah, I feel like fashion's such like, it's such an immediate kind of like, it's very personable. It's something that people kind of take away with them, live with. And that kind of like, whenever people kind of interact and see that, like something that is tangible to them, like just seeing people's eyes light up is a very priceless feeling. But in terms of, I feel like it's the navigation. I just like how mobile it is. that combination, and again, I think the key word is like the duality. Like for me, it's almost like, why not?
Mm.
I always used to go to galleries and see shows, and it's like, why wouldn't I want to go out looking like a piece of art that I've invested in? Do you know what I'm saying? It was like,
Sick, yeah.
and then yeah, and then that, obviously with my brother, like obviously speaking, it became more of like it naturally just rolled into like a brand of something that you'd only want to share with people. And then and obviously just stylistically, like you kind of consciously make like the modeling experience feeds into like the icons you select. The icons you select feeds into like the style of art. The style of art feeds into like the way like you kind of apply that art to the clothing. And then it's just one whole, like, I guess, ecosystem of just creativity.
No, that's sick, man. And bro, you're doing it well. I tell you that for free. So
I appreciate
it's
that, bro.
great to see. So galleries, you know, a lot of people want to get into galleries or do collaborations with big gallery houses. um how's the experience with you, how was the experience for you rather, with galleries, because you did something recently with the Take Collective. How has that whole process been for you? Do you find it hard? Did you think that galleries need to learn more about, you know, black artists? But yeah, I've pretty much given you two questions, but yeah, how's that overall?
Yeah, no, I think it's been a very insightful experience. I guess the best way to kind of put it is that like art is almost like two worlds. I feel like institutions are a part or a big part of like the art kind of world and scene. Um, my interaction, my experience, I feel like my brand and I guess the art leads the way. I'd always put it like that. I think sometimes you can be looking in one direction and be like, oh, I want to do this, and you're holding and you're kind of wishing on a star. That's your desire, but then your art will catch the eye of someone or something, and it genuinely leads the way. Like it opens doors, and it's like um, you have to just be in a position to kind of like follow it and just take advantage of whatever opportunity kind of finds you based on the creativity that you're obviously presenting to the world.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, and I think it's a blessing, but I'd always just, I guess, advise black artists, any artist, to always always land on your feet with your own brand. Like whatever, I think that's paramount. I think whoever you interact with, whatever you interact with, like institutions have been here like before we were born, and they're gonna be here like, after we're gone. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're big buildings, man, like with a lot of capital behind them. So it's like your brand is like that's your, I guess, diamond. Like you are the value. So I guess I'd always just say like that's something that I've never ever lost sight of. Like my value as an artist.
Yeah, and I think, you know, that's key. And you know, having a story at the same time as well assists with the brand, because I think sometimes people kind of forget that and just want to be a part of the gallery. I just want to have my art in there, but you've got to come with your own platform as well, essentially. You know what I mean? So people can respect you at the same time. Um, where was I? Who, like, what type of artists are like your inspirations? You know, I mean, obviously you highlighted, you know, family, mother, as key inspirations to what you do. Like, what artists have you looked at in the past that helped you, you know, push on as an artist?
Great question. I feel like early 20th century artists in the American kind of abstract expressionist movement, Jackson Pollock, Franz Klein, like that kind of school of artists in America was really interesting. Um, Obviously, Jean Michel. I think it's kind of impossible not to,
Exactly, man.
yeah, pay homage. And I think there's nothing to be ashamed about with that one. I feel that sometimes because he's been propped up in a certain way, I feel like black artists can kind of shy away from it. But Yinka Shonobore, incredible, again, British Nigerian artist. George Kondo, another
Hiller, he's sick.
yeah, great artist. Again, like I guess kind of Basquiat kind of period of time as well. Um, who else? I think another, I guess, a big inspiration was like Raf Simons' collaboration with Sterling Ruby as well. I'll never forget in 2015 seeing that show. Like literally, it was such a beautiful intersection of fashion and art. Massive, massive inspiration. I saw it in Spurf and Madras in Soho or Mayfair actually. Who else is there? But I honestly like. And again, I guess this is where the uni kind of thing comes in because I remember just going into the library and just getting like massive books and just like reading through, and you kind of talk when your tutor looks at your work, they said, "Oh, have you heard of?" And it's like, "No, I've never heard of that." But like, it's not anyone that you would see online. It's like, "Oh, yeah, go and get a book out," and then you could just sit there like reading about this person, and it's like, wow, like that's incredible. And I guess what I've always taken from any artist that I'm inspired by is how heavily their personality is within their work. And I feel like that's what style is.
Yeah.
Like when your personality is within your work, that's the way you think, that's everything. It's the way you breathe. Like no one can copy that. Like yeah, and I think is there anyone else? Picasso, I can't lie. I think even though it's always like an interesting story with Picasso in terms of his inspiration, him being inspired by African masks. I think, yeah, I feel like that's always like a funny thing with Picasso for me. But yeah,
that's weird. You know, that's probably the first time I even heard about that. Him being inspired by African masks. Because I think how I was taught in school, they didn't mention one word of Africa in that. So this is quite, you know, sick to hear.
Yeah, bro, exactly. And I think seeing that when I was kind of like the more I was researching him, and again a bit like my work, like that's like you see like one fixed photograph. Like we always taught like one kind of like half of it, but like that drawing side of it, that's like that's what we can put to the paper. Like that's what we can attest for. But yeah, and even if you look at Cubism, the entire like formation of like just eat that perspective of looking at the human form was inspired by like African sculpture. So I think for me, yeah, that's incredible. I think that's incredible. Like and that's something that we as people should take pride of.
No, that's sick. And it's starting to make sense, me looking back at all the Picasso pieces that I've seen. I can definitely see the influence in that and feel it really and truly. So that's actually big to know. Social media is played a key role in a lot of artists' career. How has social media helped you within your journey?
I think it's a brilliant tool for like your portfolio. I think it's a brilliant tool for networking. And obviously, I guess just increasing like your visibility, which is obviously a major positive. So I'd say that like one's mentality towards it is always more important than whatever you get out of it. Because sometimes like some of the stuff on my page with the least amount of likes is the most expensive work that I've ever sold, or is the biggest commission. And it's like, and then some of I always say to my brother and sister, like, there's some of the stuff like the most likes, it's like it wasn't really anything. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, is that a reflection of my success? No. So I guess I always use it for networking, and I always have to kind of like, it's a constant reminder because it's such a rabbit hole. Like sometimes like you go on it and it's like, oh, who was I gonna message again? And you're on GRM Daily. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, I didn't even want to come on here for this. So, so I guess that's that the yin and yang of it. But yeah, I think navigation, that's the key word I'd always say in terms of social media. Like I think at the moment you kind of like, I've learned to navigate it. I think it's been a big blessing.
Now that's massive, man. And social media is definitely key in any artist's journey. It's definitely about the branding, how you project yourself from there, and it gets a lot of people connected, like we've connected as well.
Yeah,
Koji Radical, that amazing jacket. How did that come about?
my brother. No, shout out Koji Radical, man. So I say that is the third time now that we've worked with Koji. Great team. Shout out Natalie Raw, Manu, brilliant stylists. Like their styling work is art in itself. I guess that's our connection. That's our point of like. I went to so I guess they just reach out and then they kind of always give the brief, and I feel like the subject matters heavily kind of link anyway. So it's always a very, very organic process collaborating with Koji in terms of like, I guess what we explore and obviously what he does. And he's always great as well, man. Like the performance was brilliant. Yeah.
No, Koji's an important artist. Do you know what I mean? And if he's picking because he's very specific, even in his visuals. So I know everything's about detail for him. Even that jacket was just detailed to the T, and it just sat well with him. So that's a sick thing that you guys did.
Thank you, man. Thank you. And I feel like the UK's in a really special space at the moment, I guess, in terms of like the level of creativity that he's really pushing the envelope. And I guess we're gonna look back on this, like even us having this conversation, him doing everything he's doing in music, like, and it's like wow, like that never happened before, and like that was really like we were making history, like as we were doing things. So yeah, man.
Yeah, I think definitely that moment, I don't think it was talked about enough as it should. Whether you felt that or not, I'm not too sure. But those sort of moments when Koji becomes even bigger than he is currently now, they're going to talk about that exact moment. They're going to talk about the jacket, the message behind it, everything. So, I mean, you're a part of history within that.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
No worries. Legacy. That's like a massive thing that, plays in my mind and everything like that. What do you want your legacy to be like in years to come? How do you want people to, look at your art, and how do you want them to feel?
That's a great question, man. Legacy is massive. It's so important. I feel like I want people to see the intersection of like culture and commerciality. And I want people to kind of like learn how to be themselves and become commercial. I want people's soul to stay within themselves when they're becoming more creative, and they're earning money from their output. I guess I always say that my experience in modeling showed me a side to like commerciality that was invaluable. And when I can always look at something and people, and just whether they're musician, artist, dancer, you can just tell organic and artificial. You can tell what will last and what will fade. And for me, I just want people to kind of like look at Unaji and say, I've chosen to be organic, and like I'm gonna continue being organic because I was inspired by these guys, and and just continue to like create and get your money's worth for it, man. So that's what Unaji's about, like
No, I like it.
Deserved.
No, I definitely like it. I love how you use your own name as well. I mean, that holds weight. And that's something your kids will know that, yeah, my dad was a part of this, or my uncle was a part of this, you know what I mean? And he built this from scratch. We briefly talked about, the whole creative scene growing and, becoming something great. How do you feel the art scene is developing in the UK? Like, do you think it's developing in a great positive way, or do Do we have some things that we need to learn within the scene?
Yeah, I think there's always room for improvement. I think if I'm being super critical, and I've read, like I said, I've read like a lot of books in terms of like art history, spoken to a lot of people. I think when you don't know how to translate your creativity commercially, as unfortunate as it is, if it's not recorded, it's almost like certain cultures didn't even exist. Like, and I think it's a tragic, like it's a tragedy, but it's like we have to be real. We have to be real. Like, anything that has capital or certain like value behind it is either owned by someone who will only preserve it over amount of time, and that's what art is. Art is the preservation of culture, like, and it's passed down. And I think that's something that I guess people, because we want something so immediate, I guess that's such a difficult concept. So for me, I always my challenge to artists and people within the scene is, can we cultivate something that deserves to be preserved?
Yeah.
And can we contribute to that preservation? So that's what I'm striving to do. That's what I'm doing at the moment. So with my own brand, even being a trustee with a Creative Lands Trust.
That's amazing. It's truly amazing.
Thank you, man. Thank you. So that again, that's the preservation of like workspace to kind of like continue creativity like in the London scene. Obviously, economically, it was an incredibly difficult time last year.
So, what would be your advice to, young artists who are on the come up right now? Look to you as an inspiration, look to many other artists. What would be your advice to them?
I'd say never stop learning. I'd say question your inspirations. Don't drive off the hill if they drive off the hill. Don't jump if they say jump. I'd say love what you love, but in the same breath, study it. Don't binge your inspiration, study it. And I feel like
That's a very good one, actually. Very
no,
good.
no, thank you, man. And I think my brother, he said something to me the other day, like SWOT analysis, obviously something that he learned at uni. But I think everyone that you're inspired by, you should learn as much as you're taking from their strengths, learn from their weaknesses. Because I guess the phrase is like a wise man learns from the mistakes of others.
Yep.
So and that's why it's so important to like read up about as many artists as possible.
I really love that, because it's something I take on personally as well. Just constant learning, because again, it's just about evolving. And I think in this day and age, we've low-key forgotten how to evolve because of what we have in terms of social media. Everything's so easy, you can create quite quick, but to learn and to develop gives you that long-term effect, that legacy, that staying power. Do you know what I mean? So when you're faced with certain things, you can adjust properly. Like if you were a boxer or a footballer,
Yeah.
if I'm in this situation, okay, cool, I can try something different. Do you know what I mean? And I think, there has to be that mentality driven through everyone. Do you know what I mean? So I definitely, co-sign that, that piece of advice that you're giving everyone.
100%. Appreciate that, bro. That's big.
All good. 2021. It's I don't think I didn't see anybody say 2021 is my year. I think we just kind of just saw it as let's just see how this one works.
Yeah.
What is your 2021 goals? What do you want to achieve? Do you know what I mean? Because you had a phenomenal year last year, despite what everything happened. But what is your, goals and strategy for this year?
No, thank you, man. I guess the key words are probably executive production, obviously film, music, art, like fashion, the line, of course. And I guess this year, I guess people are going to see like a different side to us. It's almost like we've been two-dimensional, and people are going to see us in 3D now. I think you're going to really hear what UNAJI is about. I think people have been seeing it, but I think now you're going to really hear it. And I think the concepts behind our work, why we do what we do, is equally as powerful as the aesthetic of how it looks. So yeah, I guess every endeavor through 2021 and beyond will reflect that, whatever the medium.
Nah, that's truly huge, you know, and bro, like God willing, you achieve everything that you set your mind to. Do you know what I mean? And I think you're the type of man to know that it will be achieved. You know what I mean? Based on what you've done and how you work. So you know what I mean. I wish you nothing but the best for that.
Much appreciated, bro. I really appreciate it.
No worries, bro. Thank you so much for coming on the pod, man. I really appreciate it. You know, you're the first guest of 2021. You know what I mean? I'm back in the swing of things, and you know, it's great to, you know, kick off the podcasting year with you. Where can everybody find you social media wise, website wise? Is there anything they can purchase? Let the people know.
Yeah, no, sure, man. Straight www.UNAJI&co.com. That is, I guess, the business website. You can purchase our new essentials range, luxury visibility, any art orders. There's prints on there. Any original inquiries, of course, that's through email. And one-of-ones, of course. If you want to look fly like Koji Radical, you know where to find us. And Instagram's at Emmanuel Unaji, and our business Instagram is UNAJI_.
Bro, you're a legend, man. I appreciate that highly, man.
Anytime, man. It's a blessing.
Bro.
Thank you.
Cool. Absolute pleasure. All right, bro. You take it easy.
Take care, bro.
Yes.